Sapiens. I'm here with my friend Kenny. He's a writer, a lyricist, performer, and generally a traveling soul. He's been all over the place. And we're here in Phoenix, Arizona. Sunny Phoenix, Arizona. How you doing, brother? Welcome to the program.
What's going on, my brother? What's going on, brother? Good seeing you again, too, man. Welcome back for the second round.
Yeah. I was here a month ago to see you, and really happy to see your place a month ago. Yeah. And it's been just a little bit under a month. I'm back here, and you made some major upgrades in your spot. I wanted to start with that, I guess, because you've been through all kinds of crazy shit in your life, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to you, because I want people to hear about what you've been through. Yeah. Just because I don't think a lot of people really get to hear about it, and it's important. But even more recently, you moved to Phoenix how long ago?
I've been here about 5 years now.
5 years?
Yeah.
So when you first showed up here, what was your plan for getting here? Did you know you wanted to be in Phoenix? You kind of didn't end up directly over here. You were...
Yeah, I had my dad's a truck driver, and he's been doing it 40-something years now, right? So I was just at this point in life where I knew I needed to do something. Mm-hmm. So the only thing I didn't mess up at that point was my driver's license.
Right.
So I came down to Louisiana, where I'm originally from.
This was when? Around 5 years ago?
You're
talking a long time ago.
Yeah, this is probably more like 8 or 9.
Okay.
Right.
I met you though how long ago?
Ooh, bro,
that would have been about 8-9 years ago, no?
I think it's probably 10 or 12. Dude.
I don't think it's 10 or 12.
You don't think so?
It would have to be after 2010.
Because, brother, my daughter is 7 now.
How is that possible?
Yeah, bro. My daughter is 7.
Shit. What?
Yeah. And I didn't come across the mother until 3. No, bruh. It had to have been that. Is because I was in a relationship in Newfoundland for 5.
The first time I met you, you came to stay in my place in Toronto.
Yeah.
You were coming from Newfoundland.
The tit in the sky.
Yeah, that's the one. I'm going to guess it was around 2012. That
sounds close, yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
So about 9 years. So are you talking about this New Orleans stuff, Louisiana stuff? Mm. It was Louisiana, right? That happened, after I met you?
Yes.
Shit, a lot of time has passed.
Yeah, that was after, because I had my kids, and my daughter was 2,
right,
at that time.
Yeah,
and man, I was on disability in Toronto. Actually, we were right there on Jane and Finch.
Yeah,
and I had to do something, man. I couldn't just sit there. Got the kid. We didn't make financial plans for it.
Yeah.
So I was stressing.
Important to do for everybody out there.
Yeah.
Gonna have a
big
kid.
Time.
Make a plan.
Big time. Them diapers ain't cheap. I can promise you that. Man. You start worrying about a whole lot.
Yeah.
That you didn't think about at first.
Correct.
So man, I went down and asked Daddy. I was like, man, show me how to drive a truck. Mm-hmm. And he didn't want me to do that. He wanted me to go to computer school.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I couldn't see me doing that. So the only other place I had went so far, the only other place I was really comfortable at was Pensacola, Florida. Mm-hmm. So I was thinking, all right, maybe I'll go back to Pensacola, Florida. It's common ground. I'm comfortable there. I know my way around. I can start there. Mm-hmm. And then something just told me, why don't you try something new?
Yeah.
Place you've never been before. Mm-hmm. I don't really want to see any more places. Right? I think I've seen enough.
Yeah.
But then something just told me, well, shoot, you always wanted to see Phoenix. Why not see Phoenix?
Check it out.
More time it went on. It took me about an hour to make my mind up.
Yeah?
Yeah. And I said, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to go to Phoenix.
Yeah.
So I asked the neighbor to drive me down to the Greyhound station, and next thing I know, I was on the road to Phoenix.
Yeah.
Bruh, it looked literally like the Wild Wild West movies, the old Bonanza movies you used to see.
It's like that out here. I mean, so when I came out here, I didn't know there was a difference between the South and the Wild Wild West.
Yeah.
So I thought we were just in the South, and I didn't realize that actually the culture here is different than just straight up Southern. Mm-hmm. It's quite different. I'm heading to Houston tomorrow, so I'll get to compare.
Yeah.
But so when you got to Phoenix, though, Like, what about it made you realize you wanted to stay here?
First, it was the terrain.
Yeah.
When we got like in New Mexico, Las Cruces and stuff like that, I'd never seen that much land, like all at once. You know, and so I remember when I was driving, I was riding actually. It looked like it was an ocean of land and a land of sky sandwiched.
Right.
You know, I've never seen big blue sky to like everywhere you look to as far as the eye can see, and I never seen that much land in the terrain. And then I seen this big long ass train driving through. I was like, yeah, dog, it really looks like that, you know?
Yeah.
And so that was one of the things. It just felt wide open, brand new, refreshing. It felt like I could start brand new, and I could be whoever I wanted to be at that point. And then once I actually made it into the city of Phoenix, I love palm trees.
Yeah.
That's why I was thinking Pensacola, right? Love palm trees. That's all I saw was palm trees, mountains. And it's like, oh my God. And then it was warm.
Yeah.
I said, oh, I'm in heaven. I found it. And
You've been here since?
yeah,
Ever since?
yeah.
Well, I mean, the last time I was over here, I was here at the beginning of June. And this place we're in right now, is pretty new for you, this place, no? And you're out here on the north side. And last time I was here, you were giving me a bit of an education on the difference between the north side and the south side.
Yeah.
And I know that you mentioned that you started off on the south side. And I remember you mentioning you had a difficult time when you first got here. Like, being in this spot now is a blessing and sort of the start of a new chapter. And in the time, like, when I came here a month ago, there was nothing in here except for that inflatable bed.
Right.
I bought you a kettle. I bought you an electric kettle.
Yeah, I still use it.
I'm glad you do. And here, you got a desk and some books and everything set up.
Yes, sir.
So it looks like you are making quick gains after a long period of struggle.
Yeah. Yes.
And so, I mean, you've been through enough shit, like, even before that, but just to take it to more recent times, what was the process like, getting to Phoenix? What kind of struggles were you dealing with? And how did you get to the other side of it, to like where you're at now?
Largest struggle was the homelessness part.
Were you homeless immediately upon arrival?
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
Oh yeah. I don't know. I didn't know anybody out here.
Yeah.
I still really don't. I mean, I know a little handful of people I used to work with. But no, I came out here. By the time I made it here, I had $58, a backpack, a pack of smokes, and a 38. I had to make it, man. That's all I had.
So, I mean, have you been in that situation before?
Oh yeah.
So
Pensacola.
Yeah. So it's at a certain level, you're like, okay, I got this. If I just show up in a new city and I'm homeless, I can mostly figure this out.
Right. Yeah.
At that level, it's not a new rodeo for you.
No.
Not your first.
No, not at that point. No.
So then, what's the process like if you're all of a sudden in Phoenix, Arizona? You've never been here before. You don't know anybody. You don't have a place to stay. What's the next step?
Well, at least for me was to get my bearings.
Yeah.
Like to kind of get the layout of how the city was constructed, right? So Phoenix is a little more welcoming with that. You got to be damn near an idiot to get lost. It's a perfect grid.
Yeah.
All the avenues are on the west, all the streets are on the east. So I was like, okay, all right, I can add that up together. Then, kind of walk around, get lost a little bit, see where the buses run. Like, so I was already used to that. Like, just get on the bus and get lost, man. Don't even.
That's a great attitude. I love doing that when I go to a new place, even if you're just a tourist.
Yeah.
Pro tip for like a real pro traveler that doesn't just like stay in a hotel or stay in a resort and don't ever leave, is if you rock up in a new city and you just want to get a feel for the place, hop on the bus or a random streetcar or tram and just see where it goes. And you will get a tour of a section of the city that way.
Big time.
You get to see what the city looks like. You might, you stay on that thing until it damn near loops back to where you started, or it terminates somewhere. And you're in some new part of town. Okay, I'm gonna wander around here. I'll come back to this bus stop and go back. That is such a great way to see a new city, even if you're a tourist and even if you're moved to a new place. Of course, it's a great way to get your bearings.
I loved it, man. I loved it. That was how I kind of figured out what was what, where was where. It's just kind of getting lost, man. And then I would stay close to the area, like the Greyhound station is down there in Central City. So that's where I slept, was in Central City. But when the buses and the trains would start running,
I've never been in that situation. I mean, I've been like, I've been homeless in quotation marks, like glamorously homeless, right? You know what I mean? Right? I'm homeless, let me call a friend who has a guest room, and then now I gotta go stay with a different friend. I've done that kind of, and I've been in cities where I didn't know anybody and I had to randomly maybe sleep in some weird situation, but I've never been homeless in that kind of way. So if you're in a new place now and you're scoping out places to sleep, what are you looking for? And what's the thought process in finding a spot to be safe for just the duration of your rest?
I don't really think I was really looking for anything, as long as because here obviously you see there's not a lot of rain. So it wasn't like I needed like a necessary a roof, or shelter.
The shelter requirements are different,
but I was more worried about scorpions. So I was like, all right, it's got to be elevated, right? Like we're not doing this ground floor crap, right? So a lot of times, I mean you can see it a lot too here in Phoenix. Homeless is pretty big, but a lot of the bus stops at night turn into shelter. Like you can lay down on the bench, pass out, you're off the ground. The infamous spot where I used to go was right down there off of Buckeye, right across the street from the Greyhound station. They've got like this little section that's got maybe like a 5-foot wall type of thing. Shit, I used to put the backpack up there, climb up on the wall, put my head down on the bag, man, and sprawl out, let one of the legs hang. If I needed to pee, I just roll off to where no one can see me do it and climb right back up on the wall, man.
How long were you just kind of in that state, without a real place to sleep? How long?
It took me about a month and a half to 2 months. I found a company that would sponsor me to get my commercial driver's license. So once I got in with them, I was on their training facility in their dorm rooms taking the classes. And then once I graduated the classes, then you can sleep in the truck. So I was off the street at that point, right? Rent free, you know what I'm saying? So I felt like that was a come up. So,
that is a come up.
So for me, it was, it wasn't really necessarily easy, but it wasn't like I couldn't see light at the end of the tunnel as soon as I got there. Cause it's just like, look, you just get on your grind. Find one of these companies that would be willing to hire you, take your process.
But the thing to remember is that there's a lot of people that would be in that exact situation and still not be able to see the light at the end of the tunnel. I mean, that's the thing that I think people don't understand when people criticize others who are in a difficult situation and are struggling to get up on their feet. Is that man, there's a certain level, there are people who are damn lucky that can't get off their ass to do the thing that they claim they want to do, whether it's finish that screenplay or whatever, or look for that job or whatever it is. But when you're in a situation, there's a lot of people I can think of, most of the people I know, that if they were in that situation where sleeping in the truck is a come up, then they wouldn't be able to see the light at the end of the tunnel. And people don't realize that until they're in that situation. Where
sometimes that's what it takes.
Sometimes and that's what really determines your character, to a certain extent, is what do you do when you're in that situation, when you really got to fucking do it. I can't claim to have been in that situation. I'd like to think that I'd be able to make it work, but that's something. So, you started driving the truck, and now, the big interesting thing from last time I was here was this whole difference between the South Side and the North Side. You took me down to the South Side. Now, after all this whole thing, what was your first place? And was your first place in the South Side?
South Side, yeah.
And so
South Central, baby.
South Central.
So the village.
I mean, I remember talking to you like over a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago.
Yeah,
something like that.
about that. Yeah.
You were a very different headspace at that time. I don't think
I was knee deep in South Side then, bro.
Yeah. So tell me what does it mean to be knee deep in Southside? Like, what were you going through? And I mean, obviously, we want to find out what you were going through to contrast it to where you are now. So,
I think I was blinded because I got my first apartment finally.
Yeah.
I had maybe 2.5 years of commercial driving, so I was moving my way up in salary wise. Mm-hmm. But what I was paying attention more probably to the environment.
Yeah.
Southside, back in the day when I had first came here, because like when I came the second time, that's when I stayed. Mm-hmm. But I was here 3 years prior to that. Mm-hmm. Around that time, Southside was called Gangland.
Okay.
So you already know what it is as soon as you cross over, right? It's just different there. But that's where you'll see more abandoned lots, more gunfire. Mm-hmm. That's what it's predominantly there, right? A lot more poverty. You see black and brown in the same neighborhoods.
Yeah.
But
I mean, like, you're not a super spring chicken by the time you're in Southside Phoenix.
No.
So you've seen enough of this kind of thing before, and you already know about this. You know how you need to be acting. You you understand what a suspicious situation looks like. For example, when we were in the Southside at the beginning of this month, and we were walking around, I noticed there were times when you were more heightened, and you were like, no, okay. And then you started walking in front of me to make sure everything was okay. Yeah. So there's this whole, and I was like, okay, what's going on? Like, I'm just wandering around like, this place seems fun.
But see, brother, and that's the thing too, man. I mean, like, for me, like, that was like, you're a guest.
Yeah.
So, it's not like, we're going to get ourselves in a foul little situation, but sometimes you just don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Yeah.
So I'd rather be, a little bit prepared for the unforeseen.
Yeah, of course. So, I mean, like, if you're at this time, you're living in the South Side.
Yeah.
And what is life like there at that time in terms of what were you going through? What were you dealing with? Because I was definitely talking to a pretty different guy.
Yeah,
I'd say a year and a half ago.
It was a rough patch. I'm gonna call it a rough patch in my transition, right?
We're all allowed to have those,
So on one side, I had everything that I wanted and some. Mm-hmm. But on the other side, it was still like a void, I guess, that I was trying to figure out how to fill in. So it went all the way from, that was when I had like recently just got through my doctorates, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm here and I'm wondering, it's like, all right, now how am I going to help humanity? Because remember we were talking, I said, like, that's the main question that you're asked. Like, all right, so now that you got your doctorates, what are you going to do for mankind?
Yeah.
And so in the village where I was at, I noticed a lot of the kids they came from same background that me and my brother grew up in. Single parent, most likely it's your mom, right? They're either working 2 jobs to barely make it, working 1 and they're really not making it, or they're on a fixed income somehow.
Yeah.
Right. So with the area there on South Central and Baseline, there's not really things for the kids to do. So in the apartment complex, there's no playground set, right? So they don't have anything to necessarily play with. Right. Everyone's on fixed income. It's hot as hell. The parents are getting agitated that the COVID is there and the kids are up their butts, 24/7. Yeah. So they send their kids out, and it's like 118 degrees outside, man. And like, you don't want the kids to be in the house,
Yeah, right.
So I was noticing a lot of the kids we're just running around. There's more like rocks and dirt there.
Yeah.
So of course, what do you think the kids are gonna play with?
Rocks and dirt.
Rocks and dirt. So all of a sudden, you started seeing windows getting broken out. Things like that, right? Because I mean,
not the first thing I would think to do with rock, but it makes sense,
right? Yeah. They're having rock wars with each other. Kids are getting hurt now. Things like that. So I figured, well, why not try to come up with little small events to give them something to do, right? So like we did an Easter egg hunt. I went to the dollar store and went up to the Food City, bought like 50 eggs, right? And paintbrushes. And one of the neighbors at the time, Miss E. I mean, I'm still looking for you, woman. If you hear me, man, Miss E, man, beautiful lady, man. And she took care of two of the kids that ended up being real close to me, man. I'm missing. But anyway, she opened the home. We had some of the kids come over. They got to paint the eggs. Mm-hmm. Bought them a couple little gifts, little dollar store trinkets and stuff like that, right? So that's from one extreme to where it's like, all right, I'm feeling complete by helping the community out to do these things and to see these kids' faces like light up with simple things, a couple of things, and so I was happy with that. But when it becomes nighttime, mm-hmm. it's grown-up time at that point. There's no kids out.
Yeah.
I'm not going to stay inside at night. That's when it's nice and cool, and I get, and of course at that time, I was in alcohol heavier, right?
Yep.
So that was my thing. I'm going down to the liquor store and I'm coming back.
Yeah.
And I'm going back down to get a refill and I'm coming back. There's a lot of things that can happen just by going down in that liquor store.
They're around. They're pretty easily available. And, I've seen you get pretty friendly with the people down at Circle K. They all know you, So, they know you're not trying to create any trouble. But it is kind of funny, a funny way to stay buzzed. Normally when people think about, a lot of alcohol consumption, you imagine somebody at the bar or somebody at home with a lot of liquor. But it's funny that like you just walk to the Circle K and say hi to the guy, and that guy's like your bartender, except it's a Circle
K. Pretty much, Pretty much.
That's interesting.
And the only tip you got to give him is say, have a good night.
Have a good one, man. Be safe.
There's a tip.
Watch out for that guy.
Right?
Yeah, over there.
There's a guy around the corner look like he's scoping the place,
Yeah. So, I mean, like, so that's difficult, and you were going through that, and eventually, so if people don't realize by now, the South Side is not necessarily where you want to be staying. And
it's nothing wrong with the South Side. Mm-hmm. It's going through its issues right now. Yeah. Right. So like old school, you still have the remnants of gang affiliation that's there.
Yeah.
You still have lower income.
Right.
Right. You still have kids who have all of these obstacles in life, and they're seeing this as their continual reality. Mm-hmm. There's nothing else that they know.
Yeah.
So they're reenacting all of that out.
Yeah.
And then so now you've got the depression that's coming from the adults. Uh-huh. They feel frustrated.
Yeah.
Because they can't afford certain things, amenities for themselves, mm-hmm. and also their children. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
So that's not only frustrating, then you got people that are starving, like literally, they're barely paying rent. Mm-hmm. They don't have enough for food at the end of the day.
Yeah.
What do you think people are doing to get food?
Yeah.
Whatever they have to.
Correct.
So you have all of these things from all of the generations that are there. Then it's hot.
Yeah.
There's nothing to do.
Yeah.
You're frustrated. You're agitated, and everybody's got a gun, legally and illegally.
Yeah.
That is a South Side cocktail for you.
Yeah. Okay. That's what you mean. Yeah.
But it's not like the people don't want something different. They just can't see it.
Yeah, well, that's the important thing for people to understand. I think a lot of people don't get that. When you have an area that's like this, whether it's the South Side or it's any rough neighborhood anywhere in the world, I mean, it's not like people want something better. It's not like like a lot of people say, oh, you can choose to not do this, or it's like, yeah, kind of people have choices, but like circumstances, people in really difficult circumstances, that impedes their ability to make good choices.
Yep.
And a lot of people don't want to acknowledge that.
And another thing too, it's easier. It takes longer to build up than it does to break down.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So
one of my favorite philosophers, this guy, he always says, how long does it take to make an adult human? It takes like about 20 years. How long does it take to destroy an adult human? You can just do it like that.
20
and that's 20
seconds if you talk right.
Well, that's the
what? 20 seconds.
That's entropy right there for you, right?
Yeah.
You're talking about gang city. Is that what you said?
Gangland.
Gangland.
Yeah.
What type of gangs are rolling around there?
Different sections.
We're talking Phoenix.
Yeah. Okay. The old school, when I first got here, you'd see a lot of Crip.
Right.
Now I think it's probably MS-13. You're seeing a lot of
MS-13. MS stands for
Mexican
Syndicate.
Yeah.
Crip. Correct me if I'm wrong. This flag that you've put, we are drinking some. What are we drinking? Some type of whiskey? Apple whiskey?
Yeah.
And we are drinking it out of this interesting sort of set glass.
Yeah, this
bottle.
This
it's like
my
a liqueur
cordial set.
Yeah, you picked this up last time I was here.
Yeah.
And the bottle is placed upon an orange flag.
Yeah.
And you explained to me the significance of this specific orange flag last time I was here.
Yeah.
So this is, I know I'm in a safe place, but just because this is being recorded, I'm like, just based on everything you were telling me last time, I'm deathly afraid to get this incorrect. This is a specific type of Crip color?
Yeah. It's Hoover.
Yeah. So I realize I'm safe in this place. Forget, based on some of the stories you were telling me last time, definitely situations where you wouldn't want to fuck that up or get this incorrect, I guess. But orange is not a color that I normally associate with Crip. So in my low resolution pop culture understanding of gang colors, I only know the blood, which is red, and then Crip, which I always thought was a blue flag.
Yeah.
Now, can you explain the significance of this orange?
The orange is just Hoover Crip.
So
it's still Crip, but it extenuated because apparently out in Cali they got different rules.
Right.
In California, right?
So Hoover applies specifically to what Hoover Crip? What are we talking about? It's a subcategory, subgroup?
Yeah, basically you could say that. So it's still giving respect or homage, if you want to call it that. It's still giving homage to Crips, but it's a different branch saying we don't really mess with none of y'all, really. In a way. All right, so it broke off is because apparently in LA, Crips kill Crips.
Okay.
Apparently, right? I can't confirm it. I'm not from LA.
Yeah.
But when I was younger, I was told we were always told to pay homage to the Rolling 20s.
Okay.
And the Rolling 60s. So those are Crip sets. But if you go to LA, you can also find Rolling 20s and Rolling 60s in Bloods. I didn't know that.
Okay, I forgot about this word set.
Yeah.
Which is
just like a different neighborhood.
That's your different neighborhood. So that's like the subgroup. So the Hoover Crips, is that a set?
They've got sets.
But so the Hoover Crip is still a larger category. And within that there are sets.
Yeah, it's like a clique. Yeah.
So the sets are much smaller groups.
It said to be like your neighborhood.
Okay, how much? Like what approximately we're talking about in terms of numbers? What's the range?
I don't know, bro. It depends on what type of PJs you go to, man. I mean,
okay, because it's going to be different in different cities. Some cities are more populated than others.
Right.
So I guess it would change.
Yeah.
So there is a story behind Hoover Crips and why they wanted to be different. Can you elaborate on that?
All right. Well, apparently it came from at the time. Now this is like old school, like the great Mr. Tukey Williams, old school.
Okay.
Right? Crips were, like, certain neighborhoods were feuding over whatever issues, politics that they had. Mm-hmm. One particular that stemmed from Hoover Crip.
And is Hoover a neighborhood or is it a name of a person?
Shoot, to be honest with you,
yeah,
it's from Larry Hoover.
Okay.
The founder.
Okay.
I guess. So like Tukey Williams is like the grandfather. Right. Hoover would be the uncle of the grandfather, kind of in a way, right?
Yeah.
So there was all of this Crip on Crip, then Blood on Crip, then whoever else wanted to join in, just attacking this one neighborhood, I guess, where Hoover kind of came from, right?
Yeah.
So it just got to a point to where it's like, well, there's no loyalty with the Crips, but we're saying that that's what it is, right? Mm-hmm. So we're not getting any loyalty with that. We got Crips coming over here doing this and that and yada yada. Mm-hmm. And we got Bloods coming over here, this and that and yada yada. Well, how about if we say y'all both can get it? How about we do that?
Okay.
But we're not going to put down necessarily the Crip flag because we're still with it.
Yeah.
But this is what we're going to do.
Right.
So it's Hoover Crip. So that means anybody can get it.
Anybody can get it.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. We're not playing this bullshit with y'all.
Yeah.
About this, but you're not coming over here doing this.
Right.
Doesn't matter who you are. You're not coming over here doing that.
Okay.
So that's kind of the attitude that it was founded on.
And is the orange color strictly for Hoover Crip?
I'm sure it could be different because I've seen Crips wear gray before. I think it was a sect called like Ghost Town or something.
Yeah.
I think that was in LA. I've seen pink.
Yeah.
That's from Dallas, the Pink Panthers.
Yeah.
They're Crip and they wear nothing but pink.
Okay.
But I think now they got so many different colors.
Now it's hard to keep track of it.
Right.
Yeah.
So you just stick with like what side is your flag hanging out. If it's left, it's Crip. If it's right, it's probably Diamond.
Okay.
Or Blood.
Blood, what is the one? What did you say before that?
Daimu.
Daimu?
Yeah.
And what does that stand for? What does that mean?
I think they came from sets. I'm not really sure on their culture, right?
Yeah.
But I think because I know Pyru, you got Pyru. I think that's an avenue that you should be paying homage to out there. Mm-hmm. You got the Bloods from the old school way that I knew. They used to put their finger in the hole of the victim and write blood out in their blood. That's why the name Blood stuck with it. So of course you get red out of it, right? And then I know a lot of them they've gone to where red and black used to be their big color code, red and black. So you could see them with black bandanas or all black, and then you can see them with red. I don't know what they would do now. I've been out of the game so damn.
You've been out of the game for a while. So speaking of the flag, and you mentioned this whole idea of dropping the flag.
Yeah. So
what does that mean and what's that about?
Mine was a personal choice.
Yeah.
I just started seeing it wasn't what it was originally intended to be, or what at least I was told it was supposed to have been.
Right.
It changed up so much. Bro, I remember, I think it was like the first 2 rules that you were told was shut up, don't ever say shit, and don't let crack in your neighborhood. Like that was like the first 2 rules.
Shut up and don't ever say shit, and don't let crack in your neighborhoods.
Yeah, don't ever.
Would not have guessed the second one, even though it makes sense.
Yeah, and that was it.
Yeah,
that was it. The later on, you come to find out, like, look after the elders. So like if the elders ever had an issue or a problem, you know what I'm saying? I mean, like, it doesn't matter what it was. Like their air conditioning unit broke, and shit, somebody better go over there and give her an air conditioner. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever she needed.
Yeah.
So that was what it was intended.
Yeah.
First, it was the protector of the neighborhood.
Wow, this is good. You're getting into exactly what I wanted to know, which is that, like, I mean, I think probably not a lot of people know. It's sort of like kind of mainstream knowledge, not mainstream, but like just a little bit under the radar. But 2 things people don't realize about gangs. One thing is that as much as gangs have a reputation for violence, they do serve a function in terms of the community. Yeah. And they actually fill a hole that would normally be filled by something else, something more pro-social. But because that isn't there, because the elder brother and father figures aren't there, gangs come in and fill in a certain space of community, and a lot of people learn their sense of honor and morality and duty, however fucked up it might be, from that source. And so, there's fucked up aspects of it, but then stuff for the community does happen. There's a sense of responsibility to your affiliation in your gang, but also people around you. So there's that. That's one thing. And then another thing is this whole idea that you were feeling like it's changing from what it was supposed to be, which means that it was supposed to be a certain way, or at least at one time it was a certain way. So, to the first point, like I one time read an article about, those college frat boys and all that weird shit, hazing shit that they do to each other, right?
Initiation.
Yeah, and like these frat boys get into all kinds of weird bullshit, right? All kinds of shit where it's just like, if it wasn't a bunch of rich white dudes, all those motherfuckers would be in jail. They would be. And there was like a bit of in the article, they made a bit of a connection between frat culture and the bullshit that they get away with, but then how it's all about brotherhood and all this thing. And then they were talking about gangs on the other hand, where it's like similar aspect of brotherhood, but they're not allowed, because it's happening in a different environment, you get all this other now I'm not trying to downplay all the horrible shit that happens, but I'm just saying, like, at a social level, it's pretty clear the young men need, like, first of all, role models and people to bring them in and make them feel like, okay, you're part of this community, son, right? And when you don't have something like that, then something else will come in and substitute, and it can be a gang, or it can be a frat, or it can be some other bullshit. So that's interesting. Then the other interesting thing is what it was supposed to be. This whole idea that it's changed from what they told me it was supposed to be about, or what it was about. So then what was it about in the beginning, and where did it come from? Now, the thing that I'm familiar with is that the gang culture are like sort of melted and morphed out of the Black Panthers. Now, that's a story that I've heard. I don't know the details. I don't know the details of it.
That's what I was told.
What is it that you know about this? What's the information you were given?
I was told CIA pretty much did a damn good job of breaking it all up, because Black Panthers, even though yes they were militant, but you got to remember at that time the racial tension was so high. Police were actually getting off with the lynchings, the killings, the beatings, so there wasn't anything there for our defense.
Correct.
Whether we were doing something right or wrong, it didn't matter. Like,
that I can understand just from living in India and understanding, like, when oppression is at a certain level. I don't know. You can't blame certain people in the group that's being oppressed. There are going to be militant people in that group, and how are they not going to think that way? Like, I mean, it's really hard as a human being when you've got like a boot on your neck to not hate the person who's wearing that boot and really be like, yo, like, when this boot's off my neck, I'm going to fuck this guy up. Like most of us will feel like that. And it takes a solid bit of enlightenment to not want to fuck that guy up the moment you get the boot off your neck. So that, I mean, especially during that era, we talking about the 70s, 60s, or 70s, 60s too early, 60s as well. 70s, I mean, in terms of the racial oppression, obviously the 60s it was there, but I'm my Black Panther history isn't very good, so I don't know when that organization was founded. But so there is this connection between the Black Panthers and like that eventually somehow turning into what we know as gangs. So anyway, I interrupted you. Where were you going?
No, you was right on time. I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, Bloods came from that too.
Bloods came from that as well. Did Bloods come from Crips? Or it was separate? It was a separate.
At least not that I know of. Maybe it was something different. I don't think so. But I think that they were their own. neighborhood protectors as well, right? Because like I know some pyros, right? Actually, my cousin is one, so I mean, it's, but you hear the old school reality on their side. They were defenders of theirs as well, because you could have had Crip gang, because there was at one point where Crips outnumbered everything else,
right?
Back in the day, right? So I guess, maybe there was some power flexes or something like that. They'd go over to a neighborhood, cause havoc. The people in that community probably didn't want it, so they created something to go oppose that. Like, no, you're not coming over here with that.
Right.
So they were defenders of theirs as well.
Right.
So I mean, both parties came up, but now look at where it's gone.
Well, it's decades later.
Right.
It's decades later. I mean, there's lots of interesting stuff in there because, when we were like in the 90s, it was already like, okay, that's, not quite 2 decades in, but it's still a solid amount of time. G-rap started in the 90s. But since then, it's been 2 more decades have gone by, and the whole culture that's attached to it has changed a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And like you're talking about all these different colors that you never really kept track of when that was more part of your life. So all that kind of stuff. And now also the gang stuff has been in pop culture. Like it's been in pop culture and been out.
Yeah.
And come back in again.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
I've seen it.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
So everybody wanted to be Crip when Snoop first came out.
Yeah.
Then everybody wanted to be Blood when Lil Wayne came out.
Yeah.
And then now, you can buy in.
Yeah.
Like that's what these guys do. They buy in.
Wow, this is another interesting thing. I'm listening. I just have to check this so I know what I'm doing later.
Yeah, brother.
You were talking about this whole thing about buying in.
Yeah.
And like there are different ways that somebody gets in.
Yeah.
So there's buying in. But what was, besides buying in, what was the normal process for getting in? There's like a normal process, and then there's another whole process that you went through to get in that was different than that again.
Well, now I think nowadays I've heard you can buy in.
Right.
Like, I guess if people want protection or like recognition with that, or maybe even the power to go with it.
Right.
You can go to like the OG and like come bearing gifts. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And you get bought in, but you're not about that shit. Everybody knows in the hood, like if something goes down, you're not going to be there, right? But you bought in. So you can, you're okay to walk around with the flag on and, give out the calls and throw the sign. You can do all of that. But everybody knows when it hits the fan or you're really needed, you're not going to be there. Right? Because you just bought in.
Yeah.
Right? And then you've got I don't know how.
Well, every organization needs its capital, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess that's what that is, right?
I think that's what it kind of ended up being. So I mean, now you can go to Crip sets, Blood sets. I mean, you can go to any gang set. There's probably crack on that avenue.
Right. So that's interesting. So basically, because you have more people buying in, you're suggesting that there would be more chance of there being crack on that avenue because there's less actual, like, proper gang members there to protect the community, or was there always crack coming in?
I think that's where it started going.
That's where it started going.
Because you're talking about people who are going against everything, right?
Yeah.
These neighborhoods, man, I mean, where are you going to find a job at?
Yeah.
The local corner store, the mom and pop corner store, there's nothing there's areas like there's sections, there's literally nothing there except for alcohol, cigarettes, clothing stores, tire shops. Where you gonna go?
Yeah.
So when you got that and you start seeing the ability of making money, but then now all of a sudden the rules kind of start getting twisted, and now money comes into place, and now well, you know what? Maybe not sell it here, but you can go to this area and you can open up shop there.
So there's blanks that you could fill in, right? Like the gang is supposed to be there to prevent the crack from getting on the street. But if the gang members themselves are compromised, whether it be people high up or people who just bought in or people who just don't know what they're doing, or then
Money
or
talks.
corrupt or whatever it is.
Money talks.
Then the crack can still get in.
Money talks.
Yeah. Okay. That's that. There's some blank filling in that needs to happen, and I guess it would be different depending on which specific neighborhood in the country you're talking about. That's something like that happening, but that's important context. I'm gonna have a smoke and we'll pick it back up.
Yeah, brother. Let's do that.
Going well so far, man. I think you're doing a good job.
Shoot, man, brother. Look, we just chop it up, man. We gonna give folks the real whether they want it or not, bro. Because that's just how we are.
Yeah, I agree. I got confidence in that. Definitely that. I'm gonna try to come back to this before we got up. You were talking about people buying in.
Yes.
Yeah. But so, what's the normal way that somebody, like, traditionally speaking, move a little bit closer.
Yeah.
But traditionally speaking, what is the way that somebody would have gotten initiated into a gang?
Well, I know at least with Crips, it'll be jumped in.
Jumped in. Okay.
Yeah, that's minimum.
And that's like a ritual.
Yeah.
But the person that's getting jumped doesn't know that it's going to happen.
Sometimes they do.
Sometimes they know that at this time a bunch of guys are going to show up.
Yeah. Because you all right, it's time to put you down, right? Or so you show up and.
How does that process work exactly? Like, what happens?
It's called an octagon. You got 6 to 8 people. Mm-hmm. You probably know you've been hanging out with them long enough.
Yeah.
You can get your ass in the center there and you better fight.
Okay. And the whole purpose is to basically show that you will fight back?
Yeah, because there might be a time where you get caught with 8, somebody different.
Yeah.
You gonna bitch up with that flag on?
Right.
Or are you gonna scuff it out?
Right.
They wanna see that.
And so how hard are they gonna come at you? Like, I mean...
it's a fight.
It's a fight. Proper fight.
You better fight.
Yeah. And so if you survive that, then you are in?
Yeah, pretty much.
Right.
Yeah.
And so
they'll lift you up and put some steak on your eye and give you the flag, and everybody will show you the sign and welcome you in.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's official. No turning back at that point.
What does showing you the sign mean in that specific situation?
Probably the handshake.
The handshake.
Yeah.
Okay. That is not necessarily how you got in. Mm-mm. Are you able to recount that incident?
Yeah, I ended up getting blessed in.
Blessed in.
Which is kind of like, it's like honorary.
Honorary.
Right, yeah. I was at a club one time and the dance floor was empty. That damn liquid courage kicked in, right? Yeah. So I'm ready to get up and dance and act the fool, So there was an old school way that the Crip walk was different in my time, right?
Right.
But so you would like spell Crip out with your foot before you got on the dance floor.
Right.
So that's what I did.
Right.
What I didn't notice was there was a group. There was a group of Bloods that had seen it.
Right.
And I don't think they liked it very well.
Now, you were not in at this point, but you just decided to spell Crip out with your foot anyway.
Yeah.
Just cause for fun.
Well, where I grew up, that you saw that.
Okay, like, where'd you grow up?
Heflin.
Which is?
Minden, Heflin, Louisiana. North Louisiana.
I guess like when pushed to explain where you're from, a lot of times you'll say Louisiana, right?
Yeah, little LA.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's what we call it in the country.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so you spell Crip out with your foot before you start dancing. A group of Bloods noticed and obviously didn't take very kindly to this.
Yeah.
Okay.
So kind of got into a little bit of an altercation, and after a couple of stab marks and fights, the way I carried it and at least walked to the ambulance instead of them. You're saying
fights plural?
That wasn't because at the end of the day, by the time I went back to my table, because we had the picture there, right?
Yeah.
By the time I went back to my table, they were all sitting at the table.
Yeah.
They were in my company.
They weren't your company.
Nah, hell no.
You didn't know they were Bloods before?
Nah. Well, until I turned around and was walking back over to get my picture.
This is after the fight.
No. All right, so this was after me dancing.
Right.
So I'm going back to get my refill.
Yeah.
And there's a whole bunch of blood sitting at my table.
Oh shit! And you were chilling with them a second ago.
No,
they showed up at your table.
Yeah,
you were at your table by yourself.
Yeah, so apparently they were going to drink with me.
Oh wow! Okay.
They had something to say at this point, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So, shit, I didn't care. Like I sat down, like I said, my cousin is blood. Means nothing to me. I mean, unless that's where you gotta go. But I don't know. I never really had that issue. I made money with Bloods before.
Right.
You know, and they knew what I was and I knew what they were.
Right.
We didn't care. They get the fucking money.
It's just business at that point.
Yeah. So, but that's, neither here nor there. Some people don't get down like that.
Yeah.
So you can have that. So they were already sitting at the table. I didn't care. Like, shit, I sat down, man. I poured my pitcher. I asked them if they wanted to refill. Like, just Southern hospitality, man. Like, shit, y'all straight? So anyway, we were talking, yada, yada, yada. They didn't seem to have very much of a problem because it was only 2 of us in there. Shit, I don't know how many there were of them, but there was at least, 5 to 8 at the table.
Okay.
So you got it hands down anyway,
right?
If you want to do it. Yeah. But I'm at least gonna bloody one of you guys knows. One of y'all ain't gonna leave here thinking that it's sweet, right? that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, if you got to go there, right? Yeah. But I mean, I'm still gonna offer you to drink at first, until it needs to go there. So I mean, anyway, you can tell they weren't really impressed. They didn't ask for the drink. They didn't stay too long. They were just like, all right, man, we just want to let you know, like, this is here. We don't know where you're from. You're not doing that here. I said, all right, let's go.
Okay.
No sweat.
They just said you can't be doing that here.
Yeah.
That's what they said.
Yeah, because it was their shit.
Right. Their territory, basically. And then what happened after that?
So, a couple little mouth off pieces and they're going. I guess they felt, outnumbered now. So got the upper hand, right? I didn't get too shit. I kept drinking. I'm about to get back on that dance floor anyway because I already spelt it out there. It's still etched in that damn floor, so I'm going out there anyway. Yeah. And then there was a couple of other ones that I guess was with them that still kept that spark there. Yeah. So man, old boy stepped on my damn shoes in the middle of the dance floor. Well, I'm gonna have to meet you outside now.
And you reckon him stepping on your shoes was an intentional move to be?
Oh hell yeah, bro, dude.
That's what that means.
He walked. I saw him. He left 2 girls. 2 girls, bro.
And it definitely was intentional.
He left 2 girls to come over to me. I didn't have no females with me. I was just on the floor dancing myself. I had my picture, man. I'm buzzed up. I'm just acting a fool.
You're good. You're good. Yeah.
And man. So he walked right over, looked dead in my face, stepped on my shoe, and like looked me up and down like I wasn't gonna do something, and walked off.
Fuck.
Oh, dumbass motherfucker! You there's only one way in and one way out of this club, right? I'm gonna catch your ass when you come out of this club.
Yeah.
We don't need to do this in here. So sure enough, man, I went over there, finished that picture, and sat my ass outside until he came outside.
Yeah.
We got in a little fight. He didn't get the upper hand. Then a couple of days after that, we went back to the same club to do the same damn thing all over again. Him and his boys were there at that point.
Ah, right, okay.
That's where the stabbing happened.
Okay, you got stabbed in
the face and twice in the hip.
Oh shit.
And then the dude I was with, he got stabbed once in the back and somewhere else. I think it was like somewhere on his leg or some shit.
Okay, so this happens. You get into some fights. You get stabbed. It's in the same club over the course of a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And okay. How does that set of situations then go from you being recognized?
When I got released from the hospital, I put my blue flag on my head.
Right.
So in my day, that's the symbolize war.
Okay.
I mean, so I'm all right. You guys are doing this.
Yeah.
Now I know where it's at, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, I met up with the other dude who was involved in a little altercation, and he just kind of told me like it was impressive how you carried it all, right? He was like, man, he's like, dude, you losing a lot of blood out there, man. He's like, you were just standing up. He's like, you had a piece of your jaw just flapping. He's like, blood coming all over the place, and you're just standing there holding your hand like, is that all you got, right? And I was like, well, I mean, shit, it didn't hurt. It happened so quick, you know? I was like, it didn't hurt or nothing. He was like, yeah, well, he said, turn around. And so he turned around, and I could feel like, I knew he was stacking on my back.
Mm-hmm. Meaning what?
That's, you're now recognized, you're getting blessed in.
No, but if someone's stacking on your back, what does that mean?
They're putting up different gang signs to symbolize the story, the set that's now recognizing you, and stuff like that. So that's how I got blessed in.
That's a hell of a story. You're talking about gang signs.
Yeah.
Can you explain that to me? Because last time we were talking, I don't think I fully get it, but what was interesting was we were just standing right out there at nighttime hanging out, and you showed me a bunch of signs, and then afterwards you said like the only reason that I just showed you these is because like I can, because if I brought out these signs in a different situation there would be trouble.
Yeah.
And the only reason that there isn't trouble is because I don't know anything about these signs, and we're chill. Right. And we're in a safe place. It's just the two of us, and I don't know what those signs mean, and you know that I'm not a violent person. So what is the significance of that? Like the whole idea that a few hand signs that you showed me in the safety of this room in a different situation could really mean a lot of trouble.
Yeah. Signs are meant to display a story, situation, word, a set, a gang affiliation. So, they call it set tripping.
Right.
So if you don't set trip on someone, it's all peace at that point.
Okay.
Typically speaking, if you see a set being thrown up, and you're not part of that, or you don't recognize it, that means they're looking at you, letting you know what it is.
Meaning that there could be trouble if you're not careful.
Right.
So if everything's normal and chill, then you should not expect to see any signs.
Not in that culture. No, man, no, because normal and chill would be that you do see that sign if you're with that.
Oh, because you recognize it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you see certain signs and you recognize them, then everything is chill because it's like I'm part of this group. That's my tribe.
Like if I went, I don't know, just anywhere, brand new to the area. Of course, I keep this here, but this stays here in the house. I don't never wear this.
And this as in this orange handkerchief.
Yeah. I don't never wear this. I don't ever wear any flag. Right. I mean, look, I'm wearing lime green now.
Yeah.
Like, there's no affiliation. You can't tell shit,
Yeah.
But now, so say if I went to a set and I seen old boy throw up a Crip set sign. All right, what up, cuz? I'm not gonna throw my sign back up to him.
Okay, and why wouldn't you?
Well, because shit, it's not my neighborhood.
He's not your neighborhood, even though he's a Crip and you're a Crip.
Yeah. It's not my neighborhood.
But it's not your neighborhood, so it's on him to throw a sign.
If he wants.
Yeah. But what would be his hypothetical motivation for doing that? You're in his neighborhood. You may or may not be a Crip as far as he knows, but you're not from there. It's his neighborhood. What might be his motivation for throwing up those signs?
To show you that that's his neighborhood.
That's his neighborhood.
That's the rule.
Yeah.
That's the game.
Yeah.
Don't go any further unless you're okay with that.
Unless you're okay. So this is what you're getting into.
Yeah.
And when you're saying that's his neighborhood, is he trying to say that that's actually like literally his neighborhood?
No.
Or like his crew runs this area?
Yeah.
So more about my crew runs this
that's
area,
the game.
and this is the deal.
Yeah.
And so
that's the territory.
If you're gonna proceed any further, then you either better know about this shit. You must know the rules.
Yeah. Play by the rules. Right. Give the respect. Right.
So that could be one situation where somebody chooses to throw up some signs. Another one would be the set tripping, Why would somebody do that? What is the reason for doing that?
That's to run up and steam your noodles.
Right. So there's no reason to throw those signs up in certain situations unless you're really trying to instigate something.
Unless you're 100 with the shits, man.
Yeah.
That's what that. I don't know. That's my take on it.
Yeah.
That's just blatant. Look, this is what it is. This is what I'm repping. Don't care about anything else that's going on around it. You know, you just show. You know, you're displaying what it is. Mm-hmm. Right. Okay. So that's.
I mean,
that's
it's interesting because you could probably find lots of similar types of things in different cultures, and subcultures throughout history. This is just how it manifests in the context of urban America. But in current times. But it's but that shit is really fascinating because it's so intricate. There's like so many rules and stuff, and just imagine a guy like me not knowing anything about these rules and finding myself in that situation. I mean, I have no idea how I would find myself in that situation, but one can imagine how confused one would be if, like, all of a sudden you just don't know. So, I mean, speaking of that, so
I'd be confused now.
You'd be
I'd be confused myself, brother.
Well, this is exactly what I wanted to ask you, because it's like this is a part of your past. It's from a while ago. We were both getting up there, and this culture continues, but it's changed, and it's gotten more, like, for example, you were saying earlier about people buying in. That reduces the what do you want to say? Reduces the seriousness of it in a certain way. Seriousness might not be the right word, but it takes away something from the way.
Takes away the quality.
Quality, right?
Because they're not about it.
They're not about it, and they got to really zero in on what you mean by quality, I guess, in that situation.
They're not the ones. People who buy in to it. They're not the ones who live in your neighborhood.
Right.
They're not the ones that hang out with you. They may drive through to show a damn music video or something like that to make it look like that's their clique. That's not their clique, though. Right. You paid the OG to not put their hands on you to take that damn Bentley off your hands. That's what happened. Because if you didn't have that protection, that's exactly what would happen.
Okay.
You'd be dog food.
Right. And so there's more, I guess you would say there's more of that these days.
Yeah, sure.
And there's more of there. So, and also it's a couple of decades on. Since, so it's all evolved. So let's fast forward again to you being on the South Side, and you now finding yourself in gangland. That's what they call it.
Yeah.
So you've landed up in Phoenix after a lot of this. When did you drop your flag in relation to coming to Phoenix? Like, when were you just like, this is enough for me, fuck this?
Shit. Probably like 4 years after Mr. Tukey Williams was executed.
Okay, and that was approximately...
I don't even know, bro. It was a long time ago.
Okay, so you kind of have been disillusioned by it for a while.
Yeah.
But if you find yourself in those situations, in those neighborhoods, you kind of know what to do, mostly. So what was it like being in the South Side after going through everything you've been through? And with this knowledge, what did you encounter, or did you encounter anything over there that brought you back to that space, or I
think it was more the adrenaline rush,
right,
of it all.
Yeah, there's part of it that still appeals to you, like it's at some deep down level, or it's like familiar or nostalgia or something.
No, but there is a certain sense of pride and being part of something.
I remember when I first met you.
Important.
Yeah, I remember when I first met you, there was a sentimental aspect where it's like the Crip thing, like, even though maybe that's not my lifestyle all the time, or not right now, like, that is still a part of who I am at some level.
It always will be.
And it always will be. Yeah. So that is interesting to me, because on the one hand, you are talking about dropping the flag, about being disillusioned. You understand and know the problems with it, and you can talk about it at length because you've seen it. But there's some part of you that's like, well, no, but there is some part of my identity that is associated with this, and it will be, always will be.
Yeah.
What I mean,
because I'm still old school with it.
Yeah.
I'll still, if I'm here, or it was the same way on the South Side. you know, if I know that somebody's got an issue or problem that I could help fix, and it doesn't have to require violence or a firearm or anything like that. You know, like some people are just short on change for supper to feed the kids or something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Some people got like I know, for instance, there was one girl, she was having an issue with the guy at the leasing. Right. He was trying to make like sexual remarks to get her rent knocked down. I went up there and I talked to him about it. He left her alone after that. Like, you know.
So to you, like, is that falls into the type of thing that a gang member might have taken care of in the neighborhood, or no?
Back in my day.
Back in your day, yeah. Okay.
You eat with your people, man.
Right.
You eat with your people.
This is what I'm talking about. This is the aspect of it that I don't think people realize, that people, I think, really do need to realize.
Take care of them, man.
Yeah.
That was the whole mentality of it, because like who else is gonna come here and look after any of us?
Yeah.
Is the mentality.
It's just us.
It's just us.
Yeah.
I know your grandmama, I know your mama, I know your daddy when he shows up. You know my grandmama, you know my daddy. Shit, your grandmama whipped me when she caught me, you know, down the road, brought me back home, and I got whipped again when my daddy showed up.
Yeah.
It was closer community to where that was happening.
So the community aspect is pretty huge.
Yeah.
And I think people on the outside, I think people on the outside don't get that aspect of it.
Because it's changed so much.
Well, but even before, like even in the 90s, when people on the outside would complain about, like gang violence, gang culture, like, okay, that exists, but there's clearly a need in the community that these gangs are also filling. And you can't address the negative aspects of it without saying, actually, check it out. These gangs are actually filling an actual need that's there in the community.
It's the missing dads.
Of course.
I can bet you that's number one.
Yeah, no. I feel tremendously confident that that's number one.
You have, young kids that are growing up. Mm-hmm. You call them YGs, BGs. Young gangsters, whatever, baby gangsters, whatever. Just the new generation coming up. Mm-hmm. They're taking everything that they're seeing as their own reality. Yeah. And then you've got the OGs, or the ones who are a little bit more seasoned off. They kind of got their own idea on what the reality is about, right? So now, if this is everything that we're facing, and these kids got to get put out here, it's up to us to show them some type of opportunity, because that's what we're supposed to be doing. Mm-hmm. But now, when you start looking at folk where we were selling out for money for a lot, then all of a sudden we start seeing trap houses getting put in. Yeah. You start seeing more addicts. Mm-hmm. So now all of a sudden our communities, the older people, they're now freebasing the shit, because at first when cocaine came out, it was considered a recreational drug. Yeah. So people were freebasing the shit, and then they found the recipe to actually rock it up. Now it's more addictive now, you know? So it's not the party drug that everybody thought it was. Mm-hmm. And we sold our whole communities out, and I have to take blame for it as well. I never sold crack. Mm-hmm. I see the point in it. People want money. But at what expense? Yeah. Because the same people you're selling to are going to be the same ones that steal the shit out of your damn car. Correct. Oh, yeah.
It's a hell of a vicious cycle.
Yeah. So for the love of money, we downplayed. I was taught to be a warrior. Mm-hmm. You're a protector. Yeah. People should look up to you. You should, shit, man. Like now, so for me, when I was down on the south side, that's why, like, I loved, man, when I first got started, the Cool Kids program was called Cool Kids because we sold the kids ice cream. Yeah. But we didn't sell it. What I would do is I'd stop the ice cream man, because I was noticing the ice cream man would come in and he'd play his little thing. There wasn't very many people going up buying ice cream, and I know they out there hot as shit because I've been seeing them outside all damn day,
So why weren't they buying ice cream, you reckon?
No money.
Oh, I thought there was going to be some other more sophisticated reason. Just straight up no money to get ice cream.
Money.
Okay. I'm starting to understand.
So I went down there, man, and I paid that dude for a weekend. Mm-hmm. And I said, any of the kids come up and say I'm a cool kid, give them like the ice cream that they want.
Oh shit!
So I was getting ice cream on consignment, but I was telling them, but make sure that they don't allow them to go get like the $5, ice creams, because he's still running the business.
Yeah.
So this is a business transaction. So now everybody eats.
It's funny that you use the word consignment. I'm not gonna lie.
That's how it started, brother.
But that's
how it started, man. So
No, but so was this your idea?
Yeah.
That's an excellent idea. I didn't even know. I didn't get this piece of info off you last time.
Yeah,
That's a great idea.
I couldn't pay for everybody's like dinner.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't do that at that point. I still needed to get to know the parents.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. But
you're a hell of a cook. In the future, you could be cooking them. They'd be damn lucky.
Listen, bro.
I had some great meals from you when we were staying on my place.
Yeah, man. No, bro. That is actually one of my little events, man. I want to.
That's a great idea because it plays to your strengths.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you obviously you are an epic chef.
Thanks, bro.
You're a natural chef. I
love cooking, man. I love cooking.
Yeah. It comes through in the food you make, but you're that down home chef. It's not like recipes.
We had some good eats in the sky, bro.
But that's a good idea, man. I'm glad to hear that you took that initiative. That's impressive.
Yeah, brother.
Yeah,
but that's where it came from.
That's good. That's very good. That's very good.
Partially.
Yeah.
Partially where it came from.
Cool.
But it's just turned into something that's just a little bit too opposite of where my sentiments would be at.
You're talking about gang stuff again now.
Community.
Community. Okay, so just community. Okay.
If you want to put it in even perspective of a definition, a gang is a community, and a community is a gang. A congregation, could be looked at as a gang.
Yeah, I like that.
A social group is a gang.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
You could be part of the Facebook gang, the IG gang. The Southern Baptist gang.
Well, Facebook has a lot of sub gangs.
Right.
Facebook isn't a gang. Facebook is a place where gangs congregate. Let's say, that might be a better way of saying it. But that's interesting. You say that. That's a refreshing way of looking at it for sure. Yeah. You mentioned about, like I said, about becoming disillusioned, and you said. It was like 4 years after. Who was it that got assassinated? You mentioned the name.
When was this? 4 years after when?
When you got disillusioned and you decided to leave this lifestyle. 4 years after.
Mr. Tukey Williams.
So that's one thing, but I remember you said another thing. There was like a particular incident that happened that really made you go like, "Holy shit, this is fucked up. It's too much." Do you recall the incident I'm talking about?
Yep.
You want to tell that story real quick? Or not real quick. You can tell slow if you want.
Yeah.
You don't have to if you don't want to.
No. It's all cool because, like, to be honest with you, it was just something I had heard, right? So, like, everybody, you don't have to be in no gang culture or shit like that to hear some of the atrocities that's going on. I mean, damn, you could look at another 48 hours, and hear stories. But anyway, I heard a story that had happened. This guy was part of some Crip set, right? And he had did something messed up to where he needed to get checked.
Right.
It was pretty much like you need to get sat down, talked to, so that you fix it. You messed up somewhere.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
He wouldn't address it.
Okay.
So he was starting to become like harder to be found.
Mm-hmm.
So they ended up, they went to his house or his residency. Didn't find him, but they found his wife, or the significant other, the lady he was dealing with. And I think in the end of the altercation, she ended up getting killed.
Fuck.
Then later, they came to find out that she was pregnant. That's a no-go.
Yeah.
If the OGs that I knew ever heard of that shit, each one of them, that is not what we're doing.
Yeah.
That breaks so many. Okay, that's cool. I was already disgusted to hear because I didn't know that Crips were killing Crips until I caught up with my Rolling 60s partner from LA.
Yeah.
He had to tell me, he's like, yeah, man, Crips kill Crips, and I'm looking at him like, what?
Fuck.
Because you got to remember, I'm in a little country setting.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No, we don't do that. What the hell are you talking about? Crips kill? That's not. No.
Yeah. Okay.
So I was already kind of like,
this is weird.
Okay.
Yeah.
This isn't what I was told. Mm-hmm. Then I started, then of course you grow older. You're seeing drugs right there on the damn corner and you're looking and it's like, and they got the flags out and they live there. Oh my, what the hell is this? What is this? What is this?
Yeah.
So you just, but the older you get, you start paying attention to the realities that outsiders maybe not get. Mm-hmm. Like, so, for instance, sagging your pants, mm-hmm. right? That used to be big. I used to do it when I was young, right? Mm-hmm. That's actually a prison thing. Mm-hmm. That's showing that you're gay.
Yeah, I found out about that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You do that inside to show that you're a punk.
Yeah.
But we're doing it out here. Listen, I had OG tell me that's really what that was because I never been up the road, which would be prison.
Right.
I'm just a county boy. I just been to like slap on the hands, jail sentence, 6 months here, 3 months there, the week here, baby shit.
Yeah.
Never been up the road.
You never been up the road, meaning you never been prison.
Prison, yeah.
Prison versus jail.
Right. So, you gotta kind of tilt your hat to up the road. That's 25 and up club.
The people who survive that shit.
That's real shit.
Yeah.
And a lot of people get all of that stuff twisted. Jail is not prison. Prison is not jail.
Okay.
If you're a county boy, tone that down. don't go bragging that you went, and served yourself a year in there. There are people who do years in solitary.
Yeah.
In prison. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah.
So when old boy told me, he was like, that's what that means, right? I said, what? He was like, yeah, man. Yeah. He like, he's like, man.
It means you're open.
Yeah. He like, man, you out here with your booty looking delicious. Bruh, as soon as he told me that shit, that was the last time you ever see me bust a sag, bro.
You haul them trousers up real hard.
Yeah. Look, I pulled them things up and tightened that belt on. I was like, oh, man, I appreciate you.
I will be wearing these slacks up to my belly button from now on.
It was out there looking like the black version of Pee Wee Herman.
Where's that drawstring at? Double knot this shit.
Yeah, I'm trying to tell you, bro. But these are the truths that don't end up coming to light that could end up bettering the situation, the image. You know what I'm saying?
What do you think stands in the way of some of these truths from coming to light, as far as your estimation?
Older people are less skeptical to talk to the younger people now because
less skeptical, or
more skeptical. Excuse me.
So they're reluctant to. Yeah.
It's because now a lot of these shootings are coming from the younger adolescents. Mm-hmm. Now the stereotype is they're too hard-headed. You can't talk to them.
Yeah.
Or if you talk to them, there's going to be some form of retaliation.
Yeah.
At this point. And now everybody's older. No one wants, man, whatever. I don't want to have to call the police that this happened, yada, 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 whatever the situation is, right? So they have a tendency not to address it. Mm-hmm. But I believe that, because a lot of the kids or a lot of adolescents, if you just show them, like, sincerity in, like, hey, bro, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
What you mean? Hey, man, come here, man. Let me talk to you right quick. Mm-hmm. Take him to go get a lunch.
Yeah.
Sit his ass down. Mm-hmm. Bruh, you need to pull your pants up, right? I had a dude one time tell me, and just replay the story again.
Yeah.
That told me that shit, man. I said, I ain't never had my pants hanging off my ass unless I'm taking them down to do something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now you don't see that type of intervention like it used to be. You don't see the grandparents
Yeah. Well, also
whipping the tail off the kid anymore. You know what I'm saying?
These kids will call you an Uncle Tom or like, you know, something like so quick.
Yeah.
You know, it's really hard to have these conversations. There's this guy, his name is John Wood. He's really sweet guy. Half black guy, I think.
Yeah.
He's a biracial guy from LA, but he looks pretty black, honestly.
Yeah.
The biracial part, you'd be like, someone would tell you, and you'd be like, oh, okay, I can see it. Right? So his deal is that he's actually like a bit of a conservative. He's like a bit of like, his vibe is that he's like kind of a nerdy, like black dude.
Yeah.
And he's a bit more, he's not like hardcore conservative, but he's just more conservative, reserved, and that's how he looks at the world, right? And he's a really smart guy. He's a really sweet guy. Yeah. And he started this podcast called, I think it's Better Angels podcast, and it's Better Angels organization. Okay. And the thing that he tries to do is he tries to get people of different political backgrounds to like talk to each other without being horrendous. But because obviously he's black and therefore he cares about those issues specifically, he's made a few attempts to bring together different black thinkers or people, activists, thinkers that have been doing work but maybe disagree with each other. Right. And there was one episode he had on a young dude, like relatively young dude, definitely younger than the both of us, probably in his 20s, who was like full Black Lives Matter, anti-racist, like the critical race theory, that space, you know, like that whole the new movement. He was just fully into that. Right. And then he had this other guy on, older black gentleman who he's got like multiple degrees. He was a bit more of a conservative, but he spent his whole life doing work in the community, trying to improve, like build better schools. Right. There's no way. So basically the way that he set it up, this guy John, he got both of these guys on, super different, young sort of left wing, real militant, not super, but almost militant-ish, you know. And then he had this other older black guy, conservative, done all this tangible work, long career, many decades of service to the community. And he set up the interview by introducing them both and starting off by introducing what each one of them had accomplished and done. And both of them have accomplished stuff for their community. Obviously, the older conservative guy has accomplished more because he's older and he's just been doing it for a longer time. Right. And it was a great conversation. And these two people that are coming from really different ends of the problem, where the older guy is more about this personal responsibility. They're just like, it's up to us to change things, and this is why I'm doing the work I'm doing. Right. And the younger guy is like, it's up to us to fight in the streets and kind of like protest against the things we don't have. And so the younger guy is more about like, we don't have XYZ, therefore we should get before we can do for ourselves. The older guy is like, listen, this is how we got to be doing for ourselves, and we've been doing for ourselves. Look at what I'm doing. Right. That was the difference in their kind of approaches. And the conversation went pretty well for a while, and it's really good to hear people coming from those two different sides talk to each other without being ridiculous. Right. Then it got to the end of the conversation, and the older guy started talking about gang violence. You know, and there's that phrase that you're not allowed to use, which is like black on black violence, right? Like if you say that, then you are the Uncle Tom, right? And
only to find out Uncle Tom was the good guy in the story.
Well, I don't want to go.
People don't even read it. But.
I don't want to go that far because I don't know a story about Uncle Tom. So I'm going to look that up now. But what was really funny was the moment that the older gentleman started talking about like, no, we have these problems in our community. We got to do something about that as well. Right. The young guy just like snapped and cut him off right away. Immediately, like basically called him a white supremacist. Like he used the word white supremacist, but he basically said, sir, that is really white supremacist adjacent. That is a talking point. And it's like he just fully interrupted him and went on this tip for like a hot minute and wasn't even listening to what the guy was saying. And it's like, who are you saying this to? This is a guy that's dedicated his whole life to generating tangible gains in his community. And you're just like straight up, this young fella, like basically calling him a white supremacist and an Uncle Tom. That's what that guy gets for his service. And it's like the reason why you're able to do anything is because he came before you. And like, holy shit. Now, maybe that guy's from a different community. Sure, whatever. But it's that programming that is certain. As soon as you hear certain phrases, words or phrases, X, Y, Z, you got to jump on that person. No, sir. That's some, you know. And it's like you're not even listening to what this guy is saying. And we already know, based on the rest of the conversation that we just witnessed, that this guy has a proven track record of work. It's not like they just found some weird Candace Owens type person to just throw as like, oh, check it out, we found a black conservative. Yeah, you know, it's not like that. Yeah. He's a guy that actually did a bunch of is doing and has been doing. Right. And the only thing this other guy could think of saying is like, sir, you're a white supremacist, this kind of thing. It's like, yo, like, what the fuck? That's quite fucked up, you know?
It could be, but you know, when the way human brains are designed, intellect and emotion can't function at the same time.
Oh, that's correct. That's correct.
You know? So when we get to a certain point to where we're in intellectual dialogue or even intellectual debate.
Yeah.
Once emotion comes into place, that's what's going to show.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So even though this other gentleman, he may have been passionate about his take, you know, or his views on it, that's instant show of emotion.
Yeah.
Now you're showing emotion.
Right.
For what that platform was supposed to have been, in a way, you only showed your ass. You just showed an emotional hissy fit.
Yeah.
That's what you young kids do.
Yeah.
We did it, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, well we've been there. It's not like we weren't doing the same stupid shit. It was different because the time was different, but of course. Yeah.
So you know that can play a role, but if that young man wasn't told about intellect and emotion, how is he going to know how to control his emotion when it's time to be intellect?
Correct. Yeah.
And vice versa.
Somebody needs to communicate that message to the whole world at this time. I mean,
because it's the truth. Yeah. The brain just can't do it. Right? And a lot of times we get so wrapped up, you know, like, I mean, you can look at this in any facet of just the way the system is designed for civilization right now, right? Once we start running on emotion, that's when things can become questionable.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
You have a tendency to take it too far.
Yeah. Well, it's like getting emotion and intellect to cooperate is difficult.
Yeah.
You have to. It's not like you can't have emotion. You have to have emotion. Like emotion,
but skill with the control.
Yeah.
Is because especially when it comes time to where we have to display this to the open public.
Yeah.
If we show our if the emotion takes over so much.
Yeah.
The people that we're speaking to, we're only going to resonate to the people who are emotional.
Wow, that's the truth. I mean,
so you're going to start gathering or being backed by people who are on that tip. They're running on the emotion.
Yeah.
But now emotion is a beautiful thing. There's nothing wrong with emotion, but if we are lacking the control in it, it can now take away from our intellectual display about why we are really here. So like say, if I say I'm an advocate for assistance for youth. Now, if I break down right now and give my sob story about how, you know, I felt neglected or rejected by my dad because he wasn't there and all this other stuff. I mean, you know,
but then we didn't talk about any actual tangible things.
Exactly.
What we're going to do yet.
Now we can possibly get on to veering into the point to where this is talking more about the problem and not about the solution. So it's fine to talk about the problem, but then after that, there needs to be a time where you get your head together and then you attack the solution. There should be the solution. You know. So and I mean, it's a difficult thing to do, but until there's at least got to be one mature person there.
Yeah, well, I
you know what I'm saying? To where you can just kind of like, all right, you know what? This guy right here, he's getting emotional. You don't have to tell the guy he's getting emotional. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Just have it in your head. You got to be the bigger man at that point. Just like,
well, the other fellow in this in the interview understood that, and,
right?
And makes sense. He was an older guy. He was like, okay, this is what's happening. Okay, like, so, but I'm glad you said that because it goes to show that okay, that younger guy was throwing a hissy fit. But we can understand why he would.
Right.
Because we all get emotional. And we all know what it's like to come from that place.
Exactly.
When somebody hits that weird button.
Yep.
And that can happen to any one of us.
Yep.
Yeah. Correct.
That's all it takes.
Yeah. Hey, man. Can you show me / tell me about your firearms?
Shit, I walked you through the last one.
Yeah, but now it'll be recorded and I'll be able to remember because I don't know anything about guns.
Oh, but you know what though?
Yeah.
All right, no, this one I'll show you a treat. I had to. You remember I told you I needed to go, back to my little spot and the rest of my shit, right?
I was looking at that case just now. I was like, what the fuck is in that? Is that a keyboard? Is that a guitar? You're telling me that's a gun? I thought that was a musical instrument, although I should know better.
Well, it is.
Yeah, okay. Right on. Damn, dude. What is that? That's some military level shit.
Well,
what? Okay.
No. This is my my shit hit the fan joint.
It is a bit of a shit hit the fan type situation, no?
Yeah.
There you go.
But yeah, so this is the home defender.
That's your home defender?
Yeah, that's like if I gotta like really get the hell out of here. Yeah, this is my home defender.
Shit, bro.
Yeah.
So that's quite large. It's about the size of
But it's just a shotgun. It's just a 12 gauge.
That's a 12 gauge shotgun, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. I in my mind, I imagined a shotgun to look different. Holy fuck! Look at that clip. Would you call this a clip? Is that what that is?
No. This here is a mag.
Which is the mag? This whole thing is the mag.
Yeah, and this is a shell.
That's a shell.
Yeah, that's a 12 gauge.
My goodness.
Yeah, but this is my little home defender baby.
That's your, in quotation marks, little home defender baby.
Yeah,
that's not little. It's not a baby.
Well, that's my puppy.
That's. Dude, that thing is large. So it's about the size of an alto saxophone. Yeah. Okay, just so people know.
Yeah, but
so that's one. What else you got?
Well, shit. I swear something. This is my.
Yeah, you showed me already, but now I want the description so I remember. This is
my little 410 22 over under.
It's a small handgun that you're pointing directly at my microphone right now.
So yeah.
Okay, so that's a very small handgun, very compact, very nice.
Man,
is that a revolver?
No,
it's not a revolver. Okay.
It's over under.
You do have a revolver though. I held it last time I was here.
Actually,
you got enough firearms. I love it. You're like, oh, actually, and then under your shirt by your bed
is my 38.
That's your 38. That's a revolver.
Oh, bro, these are the trusties right here, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are trusties.
Yeah, I can't see you rolling around the streets with this one. Like, that'd be absurd.
No. You could hear.
That's what you showed me last time.
Yeah. They.
Last time, this guy, we were out and about at night, and this guy shoots off a shot into the air just to show me that the cops don't come out to the north side.
Well, I mean, we were close enough.
We were right here. We were right here.
No, we were close enough to the woods. It was good. The mountain view was fine.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So what is this you got there?
The 1911.
1911. That's also a handgun.
Yeah.
That shit looks pretty serious.
Yeah.
That's some serious looking shit.
This is my executive when I.
That's your executive.
Yeah, when I get dressed up,
Okay, so that's the fourth one we've seen, or is it the fifth one? Is that 5? Yeah, you just showed me 5 guns or 4.
Yeah, and I got my little survival rifle. Yeah, this is
Whoa.
This is for like hunting small game. It's a little,
Hunting small game, hey?
Yeah, like little rabbits or.
You do that? I didn't know you were doing that. Shit, dude, that looks so like that's some different shit. Is that a scope?
Yeah. Look,
That's a sleek looking unit.
And then you can fold it and put it in your backpack.
Oh damn.
Yeah.
Shit.
Little survival rifle, right?
Survival rifle.
Yeah, man. Because like 22s, you know, they're easy to get. They're cheap.
Yeah.
Or at least cheaper.
Yeah.
And yeah, man. I mean, you know, so a solid little round for little quail and.
Quail. So you go out hunting?
Nope.
No. You just in case.
Yeah. Need to. No, I'm actually. I'm hoping.
What is that? A sock that you're keeping that in? Is a very large.
Well,
sock?
actually, that is what it's called.
That's the that is what it's called.
It's just a protected.
That's a very sleek looking gun, I gotta say.
Yeah, man. I got that thing for $250, man.
That's a futuristic looking.
So that's my little survival one. I mean, that's pretty much it, man.
Didn't you have at least one other one?
Oh, my life card.
Your life card?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is something I've never seen in my life before, and you're wearing it right now, and it basically looks like a battery for a portable camera. It folds out like a knife, and it is it's a gun.
Yeah.
That's a gun. It doesn't look like one, but it's a gun.
Little 22. I call it my little backup off me joint. Right? You never know, man. I mean,
Is your backup off your joint?
Yeah,
backup off me joint.
Like, get up off me. I don't want no trouble. I don't want no trouble. You know?
Oh shit. That's something. I mean, we certainly don't. I don't see a lot of that where I'm from.
No, so how are the firearm laws over there? Like
in India?
Yeah,
I wouldn't be able to tell you. They must be. I don't know what the firearm laws are like in India, but I assume they must be relatively strict because if they weren't, there'd be a hell of a lot more gun deaths. I think in India, you know. I would expect there to be, but I don't know what the gun laws are like. All I know is that the second you get off the plane, all of the security and like the security at the airport and those kind of cops are like the big difference between landing at an airport in Canada and an airport in India is that those guys are all carrying big old rifles, like right at the airport. In terms of cops on the street, I don't notice that they have like a big weapon on them, although they do probably have something.
They've got
like,
the sidearm on.
They probably do, but like you don't notice. Like I never notice when I see a cop in India, and the reason that I don't notice is because I'm thinking about other things. Like in India, I'm not worried about getting shot by a cop, but I am worried about getting hauled into the station. Like that's happened to me. Like I got smacked by a cop.
Hauled into the station for what?
Just any old bullshit. Because like it's similar to like so there's some aspect of policing here where they're incentivized to give certain types of tickets because they got a quota of how much money they're trying to make.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Like if you listen, this isn't my issue with the policing debate, is that there is information out there about the problems in the police force, and like people complain about it, but no one wants to listen to the one guy that's there's this guy called Michael Wood Jr., I believe. Okay. He was an ex-cop from Baltimore. A young guy, used to be in the Marines or something. And he was like this guy was is just generally like physically more what can I say, competent than your average cop. Like, so he's been on Rogan twice, and he's been on a bunch of other podcasts. And he talks about just the shitty training that these cops get, and then also the shitty attitude that a lot of them have. And then he talks about all the weird incentives that they have to specifically police shitty like neighborhoods. And I shouldn't say shitty neighborhoods, but sketchy neighborhoods.
Got you. Yeah.
And
I've heard. I've heard there were incentives.
Where it's like there'll be certain laws where like you can't have like an illegal satellite dish or some, like I'm just making something up, but it'd be specifically the type of law that would specifically make you patrol certain neighborhoods.
Right.
And it's a pointless law, right?
Yeah.
You know, something about you can't have like a broken fence or some bullshit like that, which keeps them in those areas.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
once they're in the areas, they have like a certain quota of like, this is how many tickets we would want.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah, yeah.
and
Yeah, that's what-
like if they're going to other neighborhoods, they're not getting that. That they're not meeting their quota, so they got that weird incentive. So that's an American paradigm. In the Indian paradigm, the lowest level cops are poor. The lowest level cops are living in a lower middle class or maybe below.
Do they live in the districts?
The slums, maybe.
Do they live in the districts where they patrol?
Maybe not. This I don't know for sure. I can't confirm or deny that. But the lowest level cops are not exactly doing great. And also, if you're in that situation, maybe you are not coming in with a very good attitude to begin with.
Right.
Also, in India, like corruption is more open. So, like the idea that you have to be corrupt just to do anything is more normalized.
Really?
Yeah. Like here, when we think of corruption, we think of behind closed doors type things that only certain people in white shirts and ties are doing.
Yeah.
Mostly. I mean, that's not totally true. Corruption takes many forms. But in India, because corruption is such a out in the open, normal part of life. Like, for example, the post office, the postman will come to your door every year and just ask for money for Diwali. And if you're Christian, he'll come at Christmas. And if you're Muslim, he'll come at Eid. But they just want money for being the postman. And
they'll ask the people that they deliver to for money?
Yeah, every year at this one time. And you're just supposed to give them money. Or like in another part of India, in Calcutta, like if you just want to send a letter at the post, you kind of have to give them a bribe sometimes.
What?
Yeah. So that idea of just like, well, no, but the point is that like, it's not like that top level behind closed doors corruption. It's just basic corruption to just get through your day.
Right.
You know, and I'm making it sound a little bit worse than it is. That's not like what my everyday day-to-day life is like. In India.
But those are situations.
But these situations come up where like in this part of the world, this should just be a normal business transaction. But you know, actually you got to give, you know, a little extra thing and you get this thing. So because the whole idea about you just have to be corrupt to just get XYZ done, and there's a notch below corruption, right? Where it's like you're using influence or you're doing something a little extra. There's that weird gray area in between. I'm just going the extra mile to make sure this works, and then full on corrupt. There's all that stuff. So that's all a bunch of preamble. But basically, cops in India are looking for a payday too. And my particular situation was I was in an auto rickshaw, one of those 3-wheelers that I showed you. And I was in one of those. I was smoking a cigarette. It was late at night. We were coming back from a bar. And I was smoking a cigarette, and I was with my friend and his girlfriend. There's 3 of us in the back. And there is this thing called, well, we call it a nakabandi, but it's just a word for police checkpoint. And for some reason at that time of the year, there was a police checkpoint in the middle of the road. And they stop us and they pull us over and they immediately ask us all to get out of the rickshaw. And you could tell that they were going to try to fuck with us. Normally they wouldn't, but this time they decided just by the way that we looked that they were going to fuck with us. And we all looked kind of weird. Like I was the least weird looking person out of the group and I looked weird. Like my friend Jason had big old dreadlocks at the time. His girlfriend Shimmy, she's from the Northeast. So she like looks...
So this is looking out of place.
She looks super,
that, or at least that area.
She looks really East Asian, right? She looks like almost Chinese, and I look pretty Indian, but kind of dressed in my way that might. A lot of people in Bombay might look like me, but I still look like a weird youth, even though I'm not a youth.
Right, gotcha.
But they pull us out mostly because they wanted to fuck with Jason and Shimmy, I think. So they pull all of us out. We all get out of the rickshaw, and then Jason is like. Jason knows at least some of his shit, so he was like, he immediately tells the cops, he's like, you're not allowed to ask her to exit this auto unless there's a female constable. That's the law.
Right.
Unless there's a female constable, they can't ask the woman to get out of that vehicle. And the cop knew he was right, but didn't want to like let on that he knew he was right. So he was like, oh, no, that's bullshit. So he like told him that that's bullshit and it didn't matter, but he knew he was in the wrong. And so he knew that really he couldn't fuck with them anymore. And he looks at me. turns over, looks at me, and I got a cigarette in between my fingers. This is my right hand, and you can see I got these gold rings. And so now these gold rings should technically be an advantage in India because they, like mostly Hindus would wear them. Okay. And right now, because there's like this weird, gross political movement, like this, the fact that I have these rings should indicate that I'm part of the Hindu community or whatever.
Okay. But I didn't notice that. Okay.
Yeah, like a person of other religions may not wear these rings. Possibly. I don't 100% quote me on that. But now, my mom got me these rings. She's really into it. Whatever. But that's only one of the ways in which somebody could fuck with you, right? Now, so this guy sees that I have a cigarette in between my fingers, and my fingers have these rings. So he's thinking, who's this guy dressed this way? He's got these gold rings. He must have money. So if I haul him into the station, and he seems like he doesn't know what's going on. So I have the cigarette and I'm smoking it, waiting for, like he's asking us to get out of the auto and I'm standing around to have the cigarette. He's like, put that cigarette out. Now, this is me being stupid and not knowing what's going on. I'm just like, this isn't a joint, it's a cigarette. Is what I said to him. And he's like, I don't care. And he smacked me in my ear. He just smacked me and the cigarette flew out. And he's like, go into the back of the car. And so then he told me to go into the back of the van and I'm sitting there waiting. In the back of the van, there's some other cop in the back of the van, and he's like, "What are you doing here?" He's like, "I don't know. That other cop told me to get into the back." And the guy's like, "Okay." And so I'm waiting there, and then the other cop doesn't show up. He's like, "You can leave now." So I come around, I leave, and that guy took my back. I had a backpack. He took my backpack. So I kind of like asked him, "Can I have my backpack now?" Now, I guess because of body language and the way different melodies of speech, the way that he interpreted me asking for my backpack back was sort of like as if I was asking with attitude, like, "Can I have my backpack back now?" Like, or, you know,
Shit,
are you done?
Been asking, dude, you just smacked me and let my cigarette touch the ground and tanked me for nothing.
Yeah, I mean,
but okay.
Yeah. I mean, in that situation, what are you gonna do? Fuck with these officers that don't speak the same language you do? Or I mean, I was speaking in Hindi with them, but if I really wanted, like, I don't know Marathi. But if I really wanted, like, probably if I spoke Marathi, I could have got out of that situation.
Oh.
But I was only speaking in Hindi and also in my shitty Hindi. So I asked for my my bag back, and the guy interprets that as me giving him some sass and tells me to go back into the back of the other truck, the bigger van. And now they're gonna haul me off to the station. My two friends are like, "Holy fuck, what's happening?" It's like 2 a.m. So they realize that I'm being taken to the police station, and the two of them go home and call their wake up their mom, and is like, "This is such and such has happened to Arnab. We need to like figure something out. We need to make a call." And you know, and so now I'm in the police station, and basically the actual guy at the main guy, I don't know what they call it, commissioner, whatever, at the station, is looking at this situation and what happened. He's like, why are you here? It's like, well, we were in an auto and they pulled us over. They asked us to get out, and I was smoking a cigarette, and I didn't know that I wasn't allowed to be smoking a cigarette. And so the guy smacked me and then told me to go in the back of the van. And, you know, and now I'm here. And so the commissioner or whatever realized that like nothing had really happened. This is bullshit.
Yeah, grade A and garbage.
And he also noticed that like, okay, I'm actually a foreign national. So that's dodgy. And so then he's like, this is weird. I mean, you technically aren't allowed to smoke in an auto rickshaw. Everyone does it, but he's like, you're technically not allowed to, so don't do it again. And then they get a call from my friend's dad, who's connected, and he's like, shouts at them. He's like, "What do you know? You can't do this." You know, he gives an earful to the police guy, and then that police guy gives an earful to the cop that actually did this to me. And then the cop he was given an option, which was you either apologize or you have like a 3-day suspension without pay. And he chose to do the 3-day suspension without pay. And you know, after like an hour or so, I was let go. But that's a weird situation. I mean,
dog.
Well, that's a strange.
What do you think it was really over though?
I think he assumed he could get some money out of me. Because I think he assumed that like, this guy doesn't know what's going on. If I like just scare him enough, I can probably get some money out of him.
Yeah.
He had no idea. I'm broke. Just because I'm a foreigner doesn't mean I'm wealthy. So he didn't know he was getting into. But he also didn't realize I was a foreigner. I think he just thought I was like a clueless rich person, and he had it the opposite, which is that I'm not rich, but I know a few things.
Right. Gotcha. Yeah.
But actually, but in
That's
that situation, I got out of it more because, well, I think I would have got out of it anyway because ultimately I didn't do anything. I'm not sure what would have happened if my friend didn't call our other friend, who then let his dad know, who's connected, because I don't know if I would have had to pay a bribe. It's quite possible if my friend's dad hadn't called in, I might have had to pay a bribe. It's possible.
It's like that?
Yeah.
Damn.
So like that, the whole way that the corruption manifests is just different. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Kind of get you in a hard spot and then just kind of give you this look like, do you want to stay or go to jail, or do you want to pay extra to get out?
Yeah. I would imagine similar things happen here, but not exactly in the same way. You know? I'd say it looks different here, but like policing is fucked up everywhere in the world. It's just fucked up according to that place. However that place is fucked up, it'll be fucked up in that way.
I feel actually what was crazy. I used to have my own little feelings towards police officers, you know.
Yeah.
And man, you know, at the end of the day, man, look, everybody's in this system or whatever, man. Like, you know, there was one time actually I had I spoke with a police officer, and I believe that they were genuine in joining up. Like, they wanted to, you know, make a difference, and you know, it sounded sincere, right? It sounded really good on paper too. Yeah. But then all of a sudden they get into the system and they realize, you know, all of the quirks, the flaws, the issues. You know, that's got to weigh hard on them, if any of them really signed up to be genuine, on how quick you could probably lose faith in the system. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, of course, you got, you know, all of this animosity pitted against you, and you're already in a dangerous role to play. You know, that kind of plays out. I mean, it kind of reminds me, I mean, nowhere to this extent, but it reminds me of, like, you know, I used to talk to a lot of Vietnam vets. And when they came back from Vietnam, man, dude, like, they were getting spit on and, you know, called baby killers and, you know, shit like that, you know, on their return, right? Yeah. So they weren't welcomed back with open arms at all. Yeah. You know, it kind of reminds me of something like that. Like, you're put in, well, you place yourself in that position because you signed up. Yeah. But now the situation showed you what it was really about. Yeah. Now you see the reality of it, and on top of that, you're disrespected to the utmost, but you're expected to do something positive out of it. You know, that's got to be pretty difficult to deal with. But
I'm going to send you this podcast of Michael Wood Jr. Okay. I would like to hear what you think of it, actually.
Yeah, all right. Yeah,
because honestly, like, more people should hear what he has to say about his experience. He's excommunicated from all of his former cops. They won't.
Oh yeah. Because like that goes without saying. We already know that.
That's one of the reasons why I'm surprised more people won't listen to him. Because if you actually care about solving the policing problem, you really need to hear what this guy has to say. Right. Like, this guy's information and perspective is like vital to the situation. Right. And you know, you got a lot of people making noises about for the cops and defund this and do whatever. But here's a guy who's actually giving you info from the inside to the point where his former colleagues have excommunicated him. You know, and like, that information is super vital. Right. And people don't give a fuck when it actually comes down to finding the information to solve for the solution. Yeah. Then people disappear.
Remember when I told you, man, it's easier to get emotional and just talk about the problem all day than it is to come up and you know, some people don't really want the solution. Well, they just want to talk about the problem.
Well, I'll tell you this: the most dangerous thing about taking on activism as an identity is that if fighting against some kind of oppression or perceived oppression or activism itself, if that becomes part of your identity, then what happens when you solve the problem? you have an existential crisis when the problem goes away. All of a sudden, it's like, what's the point of me? What am I going to do?
Right.
So I think people really take that for granted, and I think a lot of people don't want to admit that that's a real thing.
Yeah.
Because most people say, "What do you mean? Of course, I want with the oppression to be over. The reason I'm fighting is because there's still oppression and there's still work to do." And I'm like, sure, fine, I believe you. I'm not arguing with that. But like, I don't believe that if the oppression was gone tomorrow, you would be happy, because you see, it seems like you need this shit. It seems like you've defined your whole concept of who you are based on fighting this thing.
It could be.
And it's like, if that, like, I'm all for fighting against oppression, but if that's who you are, then what happens when the oppression goes away? Then you disappear as well, no?
Right.
And people will do all kinds of weird shit when they feel like their sense of self is evaporating, right? So that, you know, there's some weird, complicated shit in there, and that's something you see all over the world with people who really make an identity out of it. Yeah. Because then, you know, any holes in your theory is an attack on yourself. You know, your theory needs to be separate than you. You could have the wrong theory, and you still want to maintain enough sense of self so you can develop a better one. You know.
There goes that intelligence versus emotion.
Yeah, absolutely.
We can excuse me. We can get emotionally attached. You know, I mean, we're all human, right?
Yeah.
We can get emotionally attached, man.
No, that's a fact.
I think.
That's why it's important to have grace with people as well, and to be understanding of other people when they do kind of do some weird shit. Because it's like, well, of course, like I've been in a place where my emotions get away from me multiple times recently. You know, so I know what that feels like. Yeah,
I think we all do. Mm-hmm. I had a interesting learning lesson when I was going through seminary.
Yeah.
And favorite course I had, man, was similar church doctrine, and it just really went over looking for more of the similarities in other people to continue an open dialogue versus trying to find a difference to whether, I don't know, someone wants to belittle or get put higher on a totem pole, or I don't know why people would do that, but, you know, for whatever reason. And, you know, that was really a beautiful eye opener for me, you know, so say for instance, you could put one person, they had an issue, their grandmother passed from old age, peaceful, you know, and you got another person, their son was killed in a horrific car accident.
Yeah.
Right? Two totally separate things, but both of them know the pain of losing a loved one.
Yeah.
Now, just going a little bit above, but with that one similarity, the shared pain of losing a loved one.
Yeah.
You can have open dialogue in that realm, even though one passed peacefully and lived the full age versus the other one died young.
Correct.
And you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But there's still that similarity there.
Yeah.
There are people who sit there, the one person who lost a kid, was like, well, instead of meeting in that one medium to where we can speak about the similarity,
the commonality and the shared grief,
one is going to sit here and say that one was worse feeling or more difficult than the other.
Yeah.
Oh, well, my son didn't get to live the whole life. Your grandmother died peacefully living the whole life. Well, well, my grandmother passed this. And then so now the argument is coming, but we're losing the whole point of you two both know how it feels to lose someone.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've all got this.
Yeah.
We all know how it feels to be frustrated at something, but we're so busy looking for these small little differences, and we expand them so large that we're missing the similarity. So if we're all human, we're all here, placed in whatever system this is. This is pretty much a plane of existence, right? This is the way it has been designed by the powers that be and the higher powers that be. It's allowed to play its role out. We're so busy looking for differences. Right? Now it's gotten to the point you want to go religious. Well, I'm Christian. Okay. Christian got denominations. Look at the definition of denomination.
Yeah.
different classes. We've got different social classes, but you know, everything's different. We have different races, different ethnic backgrounds, different geographic locations, different accents. Yeah. We're all still similar. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I really feel that if until we get to this point to where more people are searching for the similarities and keeping an open dialogue with the similarity and not exactly with this and this and this and this and nitpicking to find the difference, these problems are just going to continue to keep doing what they've been doing since they've been here. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah. One of my favorite quotes from one of my favorite people, David Letterman. Regardless of ideology, folks are just folks.
Yeah.
Folks are just folks. Most people want mostly the same type of shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Not everybody's bad. You know?
Yeah, not everybody's bad. I mean, most people aren't bad. Honestly, most people aren't bad. Most people are just people. Most folks are just folks, good and bad.
We all here trying to make sense out of the crazy train, man. That's it.
It's a hell of a crazy train.
Yeah, man. Yeah. It'll take you for a ride.
We've been chatting for close to an hour and a half, which is cool. Might cut it there. Is there anything you want to tell people, like let people know? Or man, are we good?
Work on loving yourself and love others, man. If we could do that, for real, if we could do that, I think that there can be even subtle changes right now in what everybody's facing and what we're dealing with. Pay attention to the solution, not the problems. I think that'll probably give a little bit more hope to what we're all dealing with, mm-hmm. and make it easier for the up and coming generation, because the future are the kids. Let's try that out for a minute.
I couldn't have said it better myself. I'm gonna cut it there.
All right, then, my good brother. Peace, y'all.
Thanks for joining me. I mean, I'm still here. We're gonna have to chill for a bit. But, thanks for.
And anytime, bro. Man, shit. Thanks for coming by, bro. I told you, man. It's good seeing you, man. Like, on this side of the hemisphere, baby. Shit.